Welcome back to Light Talk, where everyday people can share their spiritual journey stories with the safe and supportive community. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please email lighttalk423 at gmail.com, or in the comments below, type in guest please. While you're there, please click on your like, share, and subscribe buttons. All right, let's get going.
Hi, my name is Kanitha Holmes. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. My daytime job is a document specialist. But what I do in my free time is I am a certified evidential medium. So I do mediumship reads, which mediumship reads can consist of a lot of different things. Um, it could be past life information. It could be people's dead past loved ones that's coming through with the message. It could be celestial beings, galactical beings. I do it all. So that's just a little bit about me.
And I want to welcome you to the show. I appreciate you taking your time to spend with us.
Well,
Appreciate
thank
that.
you. Thanks for having me. So today, I think I want to start off with telling a story about when I met death. So, just a little backstory. I like to give a little backstory sometimes for people who may not be familiar with this type of work. Um, so, sometimes when I see people I like to say biblical beings is what I like to say, or people of higher stature. They'll either come to me in my in between state, like when I'm not asleep all the way, but halfway there, or they'll wait till I'm all the way under before I go to the astral plane, because I also teach on the astral. Well, death decided to come in my in between state. So I'm laying in the bed and I'm tossing and I'm turning. You know how you're trying to get comfortable in bed? I'm like, okay, I don't know why. And I should have known that was a dead giveaway. Like your body gives you clues, they give you hints, and I didn't catch it. I just didn't catch the hint. But I'm laying in the bed, and at the bottom of my bed, when I turn over, I see a man sitting at the bottom of my bed, but he's like a black shadow. Defined features. He did have defined features, but he was looking straight ahead. So I'm laying this way. He's sitting at the bottom of the bed looking this way. So I remember saying to him, who are you? What can I do for you? And it's funny because like in my in-between state, I can be very blunt because my ego self is still very present. It's like my higher self ain't stepped all the way in yet. So my ego self can be a little butthole sometimes. Let me just say that. So I'm like, who are you and how can I help you? And he didn't say anything. And I turned over. Then I turned back over and he's still right there. And I said, hello, hello, did you hear me? Who are you? And why are you here? How can I help you? Didn't say nothing again. So I remember closing my eyes, starting to doze off, but not all the way sleeping, opening them up again. And I was like, look, if you're not going to tell me who you are, you're not welcome here. Leave. When I went all the way under, my astral self sat up in the bed and he was still sitting there. And I said, you still here? You like, who, who are you? And he turned to me and he looked at me and he said, I'm deaf. And I laughed. I don't know why, but I just busted out laughing. I was like, deaf? No, no, no. I'm like deaf, like you here today, you gone tomorrow, deaf. Like I literally said that. And he was like, yes. And so like one of my favorite shows is Supernatural. And I don't know if people are familiar with that show, but it's a deaf person who acts like deaf on that show. So my human brain is like, you mean deaf like on Supernatural? And he laughed and he was like, well, that's a TV show and I'm the real deal. But for your mind, yes, like that deaf. And so I looked at him, because I just like, okay, Like, are you here to take me? Like, why are you here? This is what I'm thinking. But he's literally reading my thoughts before it can come out of my mouth.
Mhm.
And he was like, oh, I'm here for you, but I'm not here for you. And I was like, huh? And so I'm thinking about my kids, and he named my kids one by one. And he was like, I'm not here for them either. And I'm like, well, why are you here? And he was like, I'm here to talk. We need to have a conversation. I'm like, me? You they'll come to talk to me. Okay, what are we talking about? So this is very prevalent because at the time I was not in a good place. I was in a bad place, depression wise. And I had slacked up on my spiritual work some because I feel like when you're doing energy work, your energy needs to be right. If your
Mhm.
energy is not right, you don't need to be trying to transmit energy on nobody else or do no type of energy work until you get your energy right. So I stepped back. And that's what he wanted to talk about. So he was like, look, I know this situation just happened to you. He was like, and you're not taking this situation as well as we thought you'd take it. And I was like, well, who is we? And he was like, well, when you sit down to talk about your soul contract with Source, it's not just Source there. It's Source there, it's your friends there who may be your spirit guides in this life or may actually be in this life reincarnated. And it's me. I was like, oh, okay. And he said, when we sat down and we knew this situation was going to happen, I don't think any of us thought it was going to go like this. What happened to you was supposed to push you into your spiritual purpose. But what you did is you allowed it to break you instead of pushing you into your spiritual purpose. He said, so I'm here so that we can hash out the details. So let's talk so that I can get you where you need to be. Because in your soul contract, there are things that you're supposed to be doing. If you're held up and you're not fulfilling your end of the bargain, you're holding up other people that you're supposed to help. Your job here is to serve humanity. But that's what you're here for. Okay. You the other things, that's you dealing with your ego self. If you step outside of your ego self, you're able to see the bigger picture. So I'm gonna help you get to this bigger picture because basically you putting a kink in our line. I was like, oh. So he was
There's like a
like,
slap in the face, huh?
yeah, it's like you can't get a better wake up call than getting a wake up call from death. Like there is like there's a, so I'm like, I'm listening, and I'm listening, like what it is, what's up? What's up, Dev? What we talking about? So he talked about the situation, which I'm not going to talk about the situation on here because it involves other people. But he
Oh,
talked
that's
about
fine.
the situation, and he changed my perspective about it. Is what he did. He was like, so you look at it like this, but why you can't look at it like this? Because in the grand scheme of things, this is what actually happened. Your ego self, your feelings, your hurt, your pride, all of that is projecting what it is that how you're feeling now. So have you thought of it like that? I'm like, no, I didn't. I absolutely didn't think of it like that. He was like, yeah, we know. We know. He's funny. He's funny. He's funny. And I be like, I've never expected like you to have a sense of humor. And he was like, I mean, most people that lay eyes on me don't lay eyes on nothing else. And he said, I'm not a messenger. He made that very clear. I don't do messages. Okay. I come and I collect people and take them where they need to go. I don't do messages. He was like, so for me to be here talking to you, that should let you know in the grand scheme of things how important you are in your role.
Wow, that's deep.
I said, so can I ask you a question? He said, yeah, anything. So side note, because I got to put another side note. I hate this because it's like when I want to ask a being a question, my human brain takes over instead of my what I really want to know, if that makes sense. So I have no idea why I could have asked anything in the world because he said, ask anything. I will answer anything that you want to know. One question. I said, okay.
Just
I
one,
said,
huh?
yeah, you just one. I said, so people die every second, like every second, every millisecond, right? And he's like, yes. I said, how are you here? You don't have time to be sitting here talking to me. You too busy to be sitting here talking to me. So how are you here? And he's so funny because he acted like he had a collar, even though he didn't have a collar. And he said, because there's many me. I was like, oh, I see you. I see you. And he explained to me about being fractaled out and you know how they can be in multiple places at one time and you know, all of this type of stuff. And I'm like, oh. And then he looked surprised. He said, of all questions, that was the question that you wanted to know? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay. Then he said, I got something to show you, so come go with me. And he took me out my back door, but it's funny. It's funny because I said, after you. And he said, you still don't trust me? I said, you deaf. Okay. I'm not walking in front of you and you deaf. He said, if I was here to take you, you'd be gone already. But okay, I will walk in front of you. That's fine. So he goes outside of my door and instantly we're in my alleyway 2 blocks down. So it's walking out the door and we're automatically in the alleyway. And we're standing by the trash can because it just so happened to be trash day and it's nighttime. I'm sorry, you might hear my little bunny scratching on her cage in the background. It was nighttime and we standing by the trash cans. And I say, Def, what are we what are we doing out here? It's stink out here. Like, I don't know. Go back in. You know, that's why I'm telling you. And he's like, no, just wait. It's coming. And I said, okay. No sooner he said that, I seen a car, and I'm not gonna give you know any direct details, but I saw a car go by, and I saw 2 people shooting at somebody who was running. Um, they were shooting at him. And then they stopped the car and they got out the car and they started chasing dude. And so I'm telling Def, we gotta get out of here. And so before I say it, so I'm funny, okay? I'm goofy. My things, my way of dealing with things is okay. So when I panic, you subjects don't know what's coming out of my mouth, okay? And I'm not
Right.
thinking, I'm just talking. So I'm like, Def, we gotta get out of here. We gotta die. And Def laughed. Def was like, listen to what you just said. You just said Def. We got to get out of here. We gonna die, and I'm deaf. They can't see you. And he's like, you're in astro form. They can't see you. And I'm like panicking, like, damn, we gotta go. And so I saw him freeze what was going on. And he was like, see? And I was like, oh, okay. And then he unfroze it and he walked up to the people that was doing the shooting and he put his hands in front of them like that. He was like, you see that? They can't see me. He's like, you try. And I'm like, they shooting. Hey, you actually are a spirit, okay? I'm a for real deal live human being. I don't know if I want to do that. You know, like he's like, just come on. So I go and I do like this, and they couldn't see me. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, no, watch. I'm watching. The guy got killed. He they shot the guy and they left. But the guy did die, and I saw death walk up to this guy and take his spirit. I always get emotional when I talk about the part. The look on this man's face, it happened so fast. He did not know he was dead. He was panicking. He was like, "Oh, what's going on? What happened? Who are you? Like, who are you?" And so Death looked at me, and Death was like, "Would you like to tell him?" And I looked at the man and I said, "You died, and this is death." And Death was like, you know, bringing the guy into him or whatever, so he could take him wherever he needed to go. But before he left, he was telling me how precious life is and how it was here today and gone tomorrow. So for him, his message was like, you were so in your hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like get outside of your small box frame mind of thinking. Elevate your thinking. Like you, you can't keep functioning like this and do what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So one, work with your guides and they can help you take this stuff up off of you. That's first off. Second of all, get to your job because you leave you look, you leaving a kink in the link. Okay, you holding people up. There's people that's back here that shouldn't be back here, that should be a little bit further than where you are, and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So, are we good? I'm like, we're excellent. So before he left, I said, "Oh, I said, yeah." He said, "I gotta go because I gotta take care of this." As you so put it, I'm too busy to be here. He funny. I said, so I laughed, and I was like, "Yeah, you right." I was like, "Cause I gotta take my dog out anyway. She gotta go to the bathroom, so I gotta take her out." And he turned around and he looked at me and he said, "Do not take her out yet. Wait, wait to take her out, and you will know when the right time is to take her out. Do not take her out soon as I leave out this door." And I'm like, okay, mind you, you got to keep in mind, I'm sleeping during all of this. So I'm talking to him in my sleep state, in my astral form, rather. And so he was leaving, and then he stopped at the end of the sidewalk and he said, "Oh, and just in case you think this is a dream, I got a surprise for you." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Dev, will I see you again?" And then he looked around, he turned around with a serious face and said, "Do you want to see me again? I just told you the people that see me don't see nothing else but the other side. So do you really want to see me again?" I was like, nah,
No,
nah,
no.
Dale. You right, you got that. I don't want to see you again. You know what I'm saying? So at that moment, I woke up because I'm like, nah, that's impossible. That's impossible. I did not just talk to them. I didn't. I absolutely didn't. No sooner the thought left my mind, I heard those same 7 gunshots that I heard, that I saw when I was with him. The car that I saw was parked at the stop sign that's at the end of my street right here. That's why Dev said, "Do not walk out the door." It hadn't happened yet. He showed it to me before it actually happened. So had I had took
Wow.
the dog out to walk her soon as he left, I'd have been a witness and seen everything and probably would have got killed. That's why he said, "Do not take her out right now. And just in case you think it's a dream, I got a surprise for you." So what I actually saw actually happened as soon as I opened my eyes.
Wow. I have chills going through me.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's a running joke now. Like when I'm tossing and turning and feel like I can't sleep or whatever, I'm like, "Dale, are you?"
That is quite the story. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
That
yes,
is
but he's
quite the
nice. He's
story.
nice. Yeah, I mean, nice and handsome. And I said that to I was the thing I said to him. I said, "Why the hell you looking like this? And you taking people on?" He was like, "If I was one of the last things you was gonna see, wouldn't you want to see something look like this?" Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You about right. It's nice to have a nice little eye candy to escort you to the afterlife. Yeah, that's yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That is so cool. I've never heard a story like that before. That is amazing. That is pretty awesome.
Yes, I have lots of stories like that. Quite a few. I never know who I'm gonna see or who I'm gonna meet. I know time frame is kind of running out, but one thing I will say, like a couple of weeks ago, I had a visit from King David of Solomon, and it is so funny because he too came to me in my in between state. See, Death. Let me rewind some. When I asked Dev why didn't he address me when I spoke to him the first time, He said, because you was in your in-between state and I don't repeat myself. So I needed you to be in your
Yeah.
full before I got to speaking. And I was like, okay. Now when King David of Solomon came, he didn't wait to my in-between state. I was not all the way under yet. And all I heard was David. That's what I heard at first was King David is what I heard. And I was like, I know a David, but he ain't no king. That's what I said because I'm in my ego state still. And so he waited a little bit till I went under, and he was like, I am King David of Solomon. And I was like, I don't know who you are. Not thinking of David and Goliath. Absolutely was not thinking about that.
No.
He was like, you do know. You hear me?
You kind of broke up just a little bit, but I
Yeah,
can hear you
somebody
now.
was calling my phone. But he was like, you do know me. And I was like, you a king. You don't look like a king. And he was like, would you rather me look like this? Snapped his fingers. And then I was like, all right, hey, how can I be of service to you, sir? And again, he's just coming to talk. I'm not gonna tell, again, not time frame, so I'm not gonna go into that story. Maybe I can come on here again and talk about
Of
when I spent
course.
King
Of
David. But
course. Yeah.
yeah, they I've seen quite a few people, quite a few people. And I love it. I love it because a lot of times, sometimes when they come, it's not just to give you messages. Sometimes they are master teachers. They're coming to teach you about something,
Right.
something that you don't know about, that you need to know about. And a lot
Uh-huh.
of times that's a gateway for something else that's about to come up that you need knowledge about. So they're forewarning you and helping you getting that knowledge that you need. It might be a spirit that come through that you need to help cross over, whatever the situation, heal, get out of the loop. I call it purgatory because purgatory is like a loop. That's really what it is. It's like a mental loop over and over and over, playing, and the people don't know that they're in a loop. You might have to heal them so they can go to the next plane, and you might have to have skills that you have but have not utilized. So then they will send somebody to teach you how to use those skills.
Right, right, right.
So it's always a pleasure. I love when I see them. I never know what I'm going to get.
Kind of sounds like my stories. Things just happen. And out of the blue, I don't know how I'm doing it yet. I don't know really purposes. My latest story, I just got to tell you this one because it's just so funny. I was putting my earrings in and I say, you have earrings. So you know how you put it in and then you kind of test it to make sure it's actually in the loop and everything, right? You give it a little tug and everything was fine. And I walked out of the bathroom and into my kitchen. I was talking with my husband, and out of the blue, I just felt like just touching my hair, which I don't typically do. But I just went up like this and I pulled out my earring with the back on it.
In
Yeah.
your ear?
No,
In your
it
ear?
was in my hair. My earring was in
Hmm.
my hair. The one I just put in my ear was in my hair. This happened last weekend. It was just the craziest. I'm like, I just put this in my ear.
That sounds like a glitch in a matrix story.
Does it?
Yes,
Okay.
it,
So,
it does.
like I missed it or something, or how would you explain
No, I
that?
don't think you would miss it because it's your ear. So you know when you're putting something in your ear and not putting something in your ear. It could just been the time fractal. So like with glitches in the matrix and stuff, that's it's all about timing. They're telling me timing. Timing exists for us. Timing does not exist for them. There
Right,
is no time and space for them.
right,
So when it comes to the glitch in the matrix type thing, it's something that's going on maybe on a whole nother realm, plane, coinciding with what you got going on in this with this moment. And it's just like actions that are swapped from dimension to dimension, realm to realm, plane to plane, if that makes sense.
Okay.
They was like, good job explaining that. Cause I'm looking at them like, sometimes I say things and I just be like, they like, yep, yep,
Yep, that's
yep.
one. So I glitched, and I actually, in the glitch, I missed my ear and it fell in my hair then.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. That makes sense.
Yes, yes, yes. I don't know. I'm listening. They're
Of course.
speaking. Um, do you do like gardening?
Yes.
Do you have an area with gardening where there's water?
Like what? Like, explain a little bit more.
A fountain? And it don't, or a bird bath, or something that has water in it. I don't know. Do you have anything dealing with water around your garden? I don't know if it's a creek, if it's a, or on your property.
I have in my front yard some flowers in a pot. And my mom just passed away in February, and going through some of her things, I recently got like a little bird's nest that I'm using to hold water in for the birds. Is
So that
that
makes
it?
sense. That makes sense because I'm seeing like a, they're showing me like bird and like bird feeder. That's why I said, do you have like a bird bath or something? And
Yeah.
it's the bird. You got something that you.
Yep.
Well, anyway, they're mentioning something about also it could be fairies. Fairies are very mischievous. So fairies will move things.
Oh, is
They'll
that?
move things.
Well, I'm missing things too. Can they bring it back, please?
Ask them.
I've
Ask
asked
them.
them. I go, okay.
No, no. So what you do is you speak out loud and you say, "Hey, I need this back, please." And a lot of times they move things to try to get your attention. If you do gardening, and I had to say this because I do grow my own herbs and stuff too, that attracts fairies. Anybody that does gardening, I can promise you, you do garden, you got fairies. You might not know what they are and might not even know what they look like. For me, when I see them here, because you can't physically see them with your eyeballs, they won't allow you to. It's like shimmering lights. So like if you're looking out of your peripheral vision and you see some lights that look like they're shimmering, but then you turn around and you look and you don't see nothing, that's them.
Okay.
Ask them to bring it back. Say I need my
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
They'll get it back to you, but ask nicely because they can ruin some stuff. Let me just say that. You want to be extremely nice to fairies. You never want to offend fairies
All
because they
right.
can make your life a living hell.
Okay. Thanks for the warning. I appreciate that. Well, our time is up.
Okay.
And so I want to thank you so much for being with us today. And I really enjoy your stories. You have some fantastic stories. And I love accents. So I just love your accent that you have. I think it's so much fun to listen to.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And I would love to have you back if you would like to come back.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, everyone, again, if you would like to be a guest on the show, please email lighttalk423@gmail.com, or in the comments below, type in guest, please. So we will let you all go at this time. See you next time. Bye.